What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Weekly GCap, the only source you'll ever need to catch up on all the gaming news from the last week. As always, we got quite a couple stories to go through, so let's go ahead and get right into this. First things first, let's go ahead and go over all the games that released in the last week. So, April 19th, aka the same date that you guys are seeing this video, Whisker Waters releasing for PC, PS5, and Nintendo Switch. Then on April 18th, we had Final Fantasy 16, the Rising Tide expansion for PS5, as well as Scare Ritual for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. It is worth noting that this game was technically available before, and it's just, leaving early access. Then on April 17th, we had Reigns Beyond for PC and Nintendo Switch. Then on April 16th, we have Grounded for PS5, PS4, and Nintendo Switch, as well as Harold Halibut for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, as well as Planet of Lana for PS5, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. It is worth noting that this is another game that was available before, but it's just now, going to new platforms. And then on April 15th, we had Perish for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, as well as Xbox One. I'd love to hear from you guys. Have you guys picked up or played any of these games yet? Next up, we got the second wave of April Xbox Game Pass games for you guys. Available now is Harold Halibut for cloud, PC, and the Xbox Series consoles, and this was a day one release for Game Pass. Next up, we got Orcs Must Die 3 for cloud, console, and PC. Next, we got EA Sports NHL 24 for console on EA Play. Moving up to April 23rd, we have Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes for cloud, console, and PC. This is a day one release for Game Pass. Moving up to April 25th, we have Another Crab's Treasure for cloud, console, and PC. Another day one release for Game Pass. Moving up to the 26th, we have Mandalords, a game preview for PC, another day one release for Game Pass. Moving up to April 30th, we have Have a Nice Death for cloud, console, and PC. And then they also mentioned that there are more games coming to Game Pass Core on April 23rd, those being Deep Rock Galactic, Super Hot Mind Control Delete, as well as Wreckfest. Solid lineup overall, and if you couldn't tell, a lot of day one releases for the service. Next up, some new games were added to Nintendo Switch Online. This coming from Nintendo on X. Quote, 3 Super NES classic titles are now live for Nintendo Switch Online members, those being Wrecking Crew 98, Super R-Type, and Amazing Hebereki. Not exactly sure how to say that because that is a Japanese game that has now been localized via the service. There was a lot of people trying to clown on this online, and I just found it pretty funny because it just goes to show that the people that were clowning on this haven't actually played these games, because if they would have played these games, they would know that these are actually some genuine hidden gems, especially something like Super R-Type. Hello? R-Type? Not trying to dunk on other people, it's just funny when you have certain gaming news, like whether it be YouTube channels or pages on X trying to clown on these things when they're supposed to be gaming news, and you would think they would at least know what they're talking about, but clearly they don't, and it's just, I don't know, it's a funny situation. Let's just move on. Next up, 2 games are free on Epic Games, those being The Big Con and Town of Salem 2. These are free until April 25th at 11 a.m. EST, and you might as well redeem them because, well, there's no better price than free. Next up, as of May 21st, 24 games are going to be leaving PS Plus Extra and Premium, and there's, quite a lot of Final Fantasy here, so let's go ahead and go through it. Those being Abzu, Adrift, How to Survive 2, The Artful Escape, Ashen, Last Stop, I Am Dead, Absolver Downfall, My Friend Pedro, The Messenger, Jotun, Sundered, World of Final Fantasy, This is the Police 2, Elix, Monster Jam Steel Titans 2, Minute, Observation, Final Fantasy 9, 7, 8 Remastered, 12 The Zodiac Age, 15 Royal Edition, 10 and 10 2 HD Remaster. So, you do have a little bit over a month to play these since they are leaving May 21st. So, if you would sit down and grind, you could beat all of the Final Fantasy games before they leave. Would it be a tight fit? Yes. And I mean, if there's any other games you wanted to play before then, before they leave, technically you could beat them all by then, but you'd have to throw away your social life for the next month. Thankfully, I have played these games before, I mean, of course, so I don't need to worry about, squeezing all these in towards the end, but not like that would be an issue, because I threw away my social life a good 4 or 5 years ago now. Next up, a port of One Piece Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch was announced. Quote, publisher Bandai Namco and developer ILCA will release One Piece Odyssey Deluxe Edition for Switch on July 25th in Japan and July 26th worldwide, the company's announced. One Piece Odyssey first launched for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PS4, and PC via Steam on January 12th, 2023 in Japan and January 13th, 2023 worldwide. So, there you have it. July 25th in Japan and July 26th worldwide. We will be able to see how One Piece Odyssey runs on the Nintendo Switch. I think it'll be fine. One Piece Odyssey, I mean, it's a really good looking game, and when it's in action, there can be a lot on screen at once, but I think the Switch will do fine with this one. It easily handled a game like Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and while obviously this is One Piece, it's different than that. Still, it's similar enough in terms of like the art style and gameplay and such that I think it will be fine. Next up, a next-gen update for Fallout 4 was announced. That's coming from the official Fallout website. Quote, Bethesda Game Studios is releasing a free Fallout 4 update for download on Xbox Series X and S and PS5. This free update includes native applications for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, performance mode and quality mode settings, as well as stability improvements and fixes. Experience up to 60 FPS and increased resolutions. Fallout 4 players on PS4 and Xbox One will also receive a free update with stability improvements, login, and quest fixes. End quote. So, this will be releasing April 25th, so it's only a little under a week away, and I'm pretty excited, you know? I mean, for me, resolutions and performance and that stuff doesn't really matter to me. As long as the game isn't imploding under its own weight, then, you know, I don't really care, right? That being said, it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, it's been a couple years since I played Fallout 4. I might as well dive back in, you know? It's a great excuse to do so. I love Fallout 4. I think it's an amazing game, so yeah, I'm really excited to dive back in and just see how it looks and runs on the new consoles. Next up, the Dead Island 2 SOLA DLC was released. The description reads, Dead Island 2's upcoming SOLA expansion introduces a whole new area and storyline set around the Ultimate California Festival. SOLA packs in, I don't know if it's SOLA or SOLA, I'm not sure how to pronounce it technically, but anyway, SOLA packs in 2 new legendary weapons, giving you even more ways to slice, dice, disembowel, decapitate, and dismember your decomposing zombie foes. Long-term fans of the series will be delighted to see the return of the Mighty Ripper. I am a long-term fan of the series, and I can definitely tell you, yes, I am very excited to see that return. But anyways, repurposed as a flagship weapon. The second weapon is the Saw Blade Launcher, a multifunctional ranged weapon that fires out industrial saw blades capable of tearing through a mob of walkers and cutting the toughest Apex zombies down to size. Dead Island 2's second expansion, SOLA, will launch April 17th, 2024, which means by the time that it's out now, well, you're able to play it, and you either need the gold edition of the game, or you need, like, the expansion pass for Dead Island 2. I think I speak for a lot of Dead Island fans out there when it's like, I'm glad this game's getting DLC. Not only was it like a dream come true, a miracle that this game even released in the first place. I mean, if you know the history about this game's development, it's one of the most infamous in the game's industry, I'd say. But the fact that it's still going and getting DLC is just makes me so happy. Next up, a cheat code for Castlevania Legacy of Darkness on the N64 was discovered after 25 years. This coming from Jupiter Climb on X. Quote, new Konami code discovered after 25 years. In Castlevania Legacy of Darkness, you can unlock all characters and costumes from the start. Using the C-stick, you go up 4 times, down 4 times, left 2 times, right 2 times, and then you repeat that again, going left another 2 times, and right another 2 times, and then you press L, R, and Z. And then they also go on to say that while looking into the game's files, Moises, I'm not sure if that's how you're supposed to say it, says, discovered the code, and Liquid Cat figured out what it actually does, and Moises has found more codes that might have speedrun significance. Stay tuned. We had talked about something similar to this a couple months ago when Punch-Out! Man finally had a cheat code discovered after a bunch of years, and it's just crazy, man. Decades go by, and then people finally discover these cheat codes. It's insane. Next up, Sea of Thieves has reached 40 million players. This coming from Sea of Thieves website. Quote, Sea of Thieves welcomes 40 million players, celebrating a phenomenal fleet of Xbox and PC pirates who set sail since launch. I'm also excited about getting to expand our community even further, as we're just days away from launching on PS5 and introducing a whole new plethora of pirates to our shared world. The positivity and excitement coming out of our closed beta was infectious, and I can't wait for even more fresh faces to arrive starting next week. Join us in both celebration of all our players and anticipation of those who are about to undertake their maiden voyage on PS5, and we'll see you on the seas. End quote. It's crazy, man, because like Sea of Thieves, you know, it's a big game. It's one of Xbox's like main live service games, believe it or not, and it's just, I don't know, it's just, I feel like I don't hear about this game a lot outside of Xbox showcases when they announce like DLCs and crossovers and expansions and such, but yeah, it really is, it has a pretty big player base. I played this game back when it released. I didn't stick with it long term just because I don't stick with a lot of live service games if I'm going to be honest, but I might dive back in. I think I might pick up a physical copy over on the PS5 and just dive in, give it a shot, see how things are nowadays, because it's not like I don't like the game, it's just, again, I played it when it launched and that was kind of lat. Next up, this is a topic that we have to talk about way too much on the show, but man, this one is just really unfortunate. Anyway, Take-Two has laid off about 600 employees. This coming from Reuters. Quote, Take-Two Interactive Software will lay off about 5% of its workforce, or around 600 employees, the publisher of the Grand Theft Auto franchise said on Tuesday, as the video gaming industry extends its more than 2-year-long job cuts. The company will also scrap several projects in development as part of a cost reduction plan, which is expected to result in total charges of up to $200 million USD. It declined to name the projects that have been canceled, end quote. So, This is just insane, man. Like, obviously, we've been talking about layoffs constantly happening in the video games industry. Like, this is far from being a new story, but it's just crazy how it's even extending to some of the biggest companies and publishers and such. Like, even something like Take-Two. They own, like, GTA, okay? You know, like, GTA Online, the one that's still racking in tons of money to this day, even though it's been almost 11 years since that came out. Yeah, them, the same ones that are going to be releasing GTA 6 next year. Yeah, that Take-Two. I don't believe this affects Rockstar or GTA directly in any way, but still, it's just like when you're a publisher that big, it's like, I don't know. I guess during the pandemic and such, there was just a lot of not only inflation in terms of cost, but also just inflation in terms of workforce at a lot of these studios. Just because, I mean, the gaming industry was booming at the time. Just because, I mean, that's what a lot of people were doing. So we were all stuck inside. So there was more people gaming than ever before, and therefore it seemed like the gaming industry was just, you know, ballooning at a rate that we hadn't seen before, or at least not in a while. And I guess maybe that caused some of these publishers to overhire, and now we're seeing the repercussions of that. So I guess, I mean, if anything, as usual, it comes down to the publishers and the higher-ups of the CEOs and their own negligence and ignorance that, in the moment, at the very least, back then, that is now leading to all of the layoffs that we were seeing now in the present time. And it's just really unfortunate because it's never the CEOs or the big guys that get the cuts to their checks or anything like that. It's always the little guys that end up getting fired or, you know, not getting the raises they deserve, or just having companies and projects, literally like entire projects and companies, just get shut down over it. But this is really unfortunate, especially from such a big publisher, and I hope everybody affected by these layoffs can find new sustainable work again soon. Next up, reportedly 70% of developers are worried about live service games. This coming from GameDeveloper.com. Quote, a new survey from the Game Developer Collective shows concerns over video games monetization methods, particularly as it pertains to live service games. 600 developers were interviewed between February and March 2024. The live service label, according to a respective 67% and 53% of devs, are defined by their frequent updates and in-app purchases. So think of something like, you know, Fortnite, Genshin Impact, etc. 39% of participants had mild worries over current live service business models, while 31% were very concerned, while a combined 29% either had no fears or were unsure. So if you do the math there, roughly 70 to 71% were deemed worried in some way, with 31% of that being very concerned. From the outside looking in, we only see and know so much about what it's like to develop for live service games, or what it takes to run these games, or just what the whole, just what the whole loop looks like behind the scenes. These developers, on the other hand, though, they're there in the front lines, and trust me, even from the outside looking in, things look rough. Layoffs all over the place. Live service games shutting down constantly. Live service games flopping. Look at something like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Was supposed to be a live service game. Nobody's even talking about it, really playing it at this point, and normally that's not a big deal for a single player game, but for a live service game that is all about people playing the game, yeah, that's a little worrisome for the future of that game in particular. So if things look this bad to us, I can't even begin to imagine how bad things actually are behind the scenes. So the fact that 70% of developers are worried about the future of these games, it's just, I mean, that's very telling, especially because they're the developers. They're the ones that are supposed to be super passionate about this, you know, and it's just like they have to be worried about their own livelihood. That's just feels bad, man. Next up, a Golden Axe show is in development. This coming from Variety. Quote, a Golden Axe animated series has been greenlit at Comedy Central, Variety has learned. Based on the beloved Sega games of the same name, the show hails from co-creators Mike McMahon and Joe Chandler. Matthew Rees, Danny Pudi, Lisa Gilroy, Liam McIntyre, and Carl Tart will lead the voice cast. Comedy Central has ordered 10 episodes. The official description of the series states the show follows veteran Warriors axe battler, which will be voiced by McIntyre, and Tyrus Flair, voiced by Gilroy, and Gilius Thunderhead, voiced by Rees, as they once again battle to save Yuria from the evil giant Death Adder, who just won't seem to stay dead. Fortunately, this time they have the inexperienced and underprepared Hampton Squibb, voiced by Pudi, on their side. End quote. So I used to love the Golden Sun games back in the day, and to say that I'm excited for the show would be quite an understatement. I don't watch a whole lot of shows nowadays. The main shows that I do watch tend to either be nostalgic shows from my childhood or anime. So I'm pretty excited for this one. This is one of those shows where it's like, all right, I'll be tuning in. I'm excited to see this one. There's been a lot of great video game shows coming out lately. I mean, not even just video game shows, video game movies. So this is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to this one. There's no official release date or anything for like yet at this time, but once we get an official date, I'll definitely let you guys know, as always. Next up, PlayStation is adding overlays and trophy support to PC games. So this is actually pretty cool. This is coming from PlayStation blog. Quote, "Hey everyone, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is coming to PC on May 16th. Today we're giving you all the details on crossplay support and Legends mode and the inclusion of a new PlayStation overlay with support for PlayStation trophies and more. Thanks to crossplay support, Legends players on Windows PCs can team up with players on both PS4 and PS5 consoles and use in-game voice chat to communicate. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is the first PlayStation title on PC that uses a new PlayStation overlay, which includes your friends list, trophies, settings, and your profile. This feature is available on Windows PCs and will be available from the in-game menu or, for keyboard players, by pressing the Shift plus F1 shortcut on your keyboard. While playing the game, you can earn PlayStation trophies just like on PlayStation consoles. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut on PC shares the same trophy set as the game on PlayStation 5 consoles. In addition, the PC version also has full support for achievements on Steam and the Epic Games Store. To make use of features like trophies, friends list, and crossplay, you can sign in with your existing account for PlayStation Network or create a new one. The use of PlayStation Overlay is optional for both the single-player experience and Legends mode. So if you don't want to use it, if you just want to go with this typical Steam PC gaming experience and you don't want all the PlayStation overlays and stuff, you don't gotta use it. But me personally, I mean, I don't really play a whole lot of games on PC as is, but even if I do end up checking this out on PC, which I'm considering it, I definitely use those overlays. It's pretty cool to see Sony making a push for the PC scene. Again, not a huge PC gamer myself, but you know, it's always nice when games are made available to a wider audience than before. You know, I'm not necessarily against exclusives because I do like the idea of, you know, platforms have their own identity. Like, you think of PlayStation, you think like Last of Us, God of War, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. I mean, I also grew up during the PS2 generation, so that's a lot of the stuff that I think about. I know some of those franchises like Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper aren't necessarily around anymore, but, you know, that's some of the stuff that I think about. I think about Xbox, you know, you got like Gears of War, Master Chief, Forza, stuff like that. Nintendo, you got like Kirby, Donkey Kong, Mario, etc. But again, furthermore, it is cool when they just kind of drop all those barriers and they just kind of let games go to other platforms, especially like something like PC, since, you know, it's not even another console, so it's not even like it's like, sure, it's still a part of the gaming scene, but it's not like a direct competitor like Xbox or Nintendo. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, it's an absolutely beautiful game, so I will at least be browsing some screenshots and looking up some gameplay, like, you know, like the 4K ultra wide, and just see what people do with the photo mode there. Because let me tell you, I don't use photo modes a whole lot in games, but I used it quite a lot in Ghost of Tsushima. I have dozens of photos that I took during my first playthrough of that game. And finally, Nintendo held an Indie World Showcase, so we're just gonna go ahead and recap everything that was shown there just real quick for you guys. It was only about like 22 minutes long, but we'll just go through it in order. So, Little Kitty Big City is out on May 9th. Yours Rising is out in late 2024. Refine Self, the personality test game, out in summer 2024. Sticky Business, April 17th. Anton Blast, November 12th. The demo is out it's available April 17th. Valley Peaks out in 2024. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, May 16th. Europa is coming out sometime this year with a demo available now. TMNT Splintered Fate coming sometime July 2024. Cat Quest 3, August 8th. Stitch on, well, it's available now. BZT, or in other words, BZZZT, is coming sometime this summer. Skim is July 18th. Animal Well coming May 9th. Duck Detective, The Secret Salami, May 23rd. Another Crab's Treasure, April 25th. And SteamWorld Heist 2, which was like the big closer, August 8th. Really solid lineup overall, and that, you know, that surprise of like SteamWorld Heist 2 at the end, that got me excited. I love the SteamWorld games, so yeah, that's definitely one I'll be on like day one immediately. But there was a lot of great variety here, a lot of innovative things, as you would expect from, you know, an indie showcase, just because indie games, man, always so many cool innovations and ideas coming out from there. But yeah, a lot of great games here. I thought it was a pretty good showcase. But anyway, that's all the stories that I got for you guys this week, so I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on everything that we talked about? Whether it's the cheat code for Castlevania Legacy of Darkness being discovered after 25 years, or the Nintendo Indie World Showcase. Whatever it is, whatever you're thinking, I would definitely love to hear from you guys. But anyway, this is Weekly GCap. New episodes go live every single Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so if you want to catch them as soon as they go live, well then, now you know when to be here. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.